On today's show, the LA Clippers make it 3-0 in Summer League, beating the Los Angeles Lakers in front of a buzzing Thomas and Mack Center. What were the keys to going 3-0? Going to be talking about them all on today's Locked On We Undefeated Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You were locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, been a Clipper fan for 20 years, been covering the team for 5 on my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, and 3 right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, hit the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video, and listen wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Ladies and gentlemen, your LA Clippers are 3-0 in Summer League, looking to try to make a return to the playoffs after last year losing in the semi-finals to the Memphis Grizzlies. And you know what? It has been an exciting ride so far. I'm going to be talking about the slugfest that this game was. You know, you got to get ugly wins, and this was one of those games, although you can argue most of the games in Summer League are pretty ugly, but I still enjoy them. And why I need to pump the brakes a little bit on what I said about Patrick Baldwin Jr. in the last episode because I had to listen to it. And how about the best game so far for Yanic? So this one, a 67-58 win for your LA Clippers at the Thomas and Mack Center. This was the last game that I saw in Vegas, right behind the basket, sitting next to Law Murray. It was a great time. Basically, it was just me, Joey, and Law. There was no other beat writers there. Me, Law, Tomer, and Joey. And it was a good time. 22-13, we outscored the Lakers after one. They outscored us 18-10 in the second. So talk about low scoring. And then the third quarter, 16-12 us, and then 19-15 us in the fourth quarter. So we outscored them by 8 in the second half. But the Lakers didn't even score 20 points in a single quarter. We only scored 20 or more in one quarter, and that was the first with 22 points. I mean, this was a grinded out game. And speaking of those in attendance, no Clipper players showed up for this one except for Kawhi, who was sitting in the second top, the top deck. Nobody sits there. I didn't even realize that it was him. I mean, until Joey posted a video of it. Insane. I mean, it's just insane. I guess he just didn't want to get noticed. But Kawhi was sitting up there. You had Lawrence Frank. You had our coaching staff. For the Lakers, everyone showed up. LeBron, Austin Reeves, Jake LaRavia. Not Luka, of course. JJ, DeAndre Ayton, Vando, Gabe Vincent. I mean, it was a real thing. But doesn't matter. It didn't save them because the Clippers win it 67-58. For once, so far in this Summer League, we had under 20 turnovers. I talked about that's something that we got to do a better job of, taking care of the ball. We turned the ball over 17 times, which is still a lot, especially given that the games are 10-minute quarters. Lakers turned the ball over 19 times. We won the rebounding battle 38-35. We shot 40% from the field. The Lakers shot 34% from the field. We shot 24% from 3, 7 for 29. Lakers were 9 for 30 at 30%. So they shot better from 3 than we did. Then from the free throw line, we shot 12. They shot 13. We made 8 of them for 67%. The Lakers, one of the biggest reasons they lost, free throws. 5 for 13 from the line. 38.5%, which is putrid. So it was a slugfest. It wasn't necessarily a pretty game, although I have to say our defense was a big part of that. To start the game, the Lakers had Christian Coloco in drop coverage. We had Yanic doing a little bit more hedging than normal, coming out to the level of the screen as opposed to being in drop. I think part of that was to try to take away Dalton Connect's pull-ups, and I think we did a really good job keeping him in check. He had a really rough shooting game, and I didn't do the post-game availability for him, but I stood next to and watched, next to the Laker guys and watched. I did ask Bronny a question, though, so if you want to check that out, go check out the vlog of the game. It's on my channel, the Dime Dropper channel. But I did ask Bronny a question after the game. But Dalton Connect, his demeanor was, sad. He was obviously disappointed in the way that he played and was not giving very thorough answers, not cracking a smile. He shot 3 for 15 and 1 for 8 from 3. And the thing about Dalton Connect is, if he's going to be a player in this league and he's known to be a shooter, he's got to make his open threes. And there's been a lot of games now that aren't just summer league where he's not hitting his open threes. So he was 3 for 15 from the field and 1 for 8 from 3. I think partially, though, we did a good job on him. He only had 8 points. Bronny James actually had his best summer league game yet. He was making some really tough shots, including a little Xavier Simpson impersonation with a running floater and then a 3-ball contested. So he was playing really well. 17 and making some really good reads too. So maybe the Bronny isn't maybe I wrote him off too quickly that he's not an NBA player, because maybe he can develop into one. Remember, he only spent 1 year at USC, so he has been getting some good reps in the G. He looked like one of their better players in this game. He had 17 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 turnovers on 6 for 10 shooting and 3 for 5 from 3, and made both his free throws. So he shot 60, 100 splits. He had a really good game. He was probably, in my opinion, the guy that played the best for them. But overall, we just did a really good job defensively. Very active, knowing our coverages, sliding our feet well. I thought Cam Christie did a really good job using his hands. Xavier Simpson's out there competing. Yanic was doing a pretty good job hedging and not allowing Dalton Connect or the Laker guards to just come off screens for threes. So I thought they did a pretty good job of that. But when we're talking about the defense and we're talking about the slugfest that this game was, I have to say Trenton Flowers was a complete standout. Throwing his body to the floor, sliding his feet, getting chest to chest, having possessions where he would switch on to multiple people and guard guys for like 20 seconds of the shot clock. This guy is defending with a fire right now. He's throwing his body around. His athleticism, his measurables, as he said. He's an athlete, and he's going out there wanting to guard and improve a point, and he's doing a hell of a job. I think if you look at this game, he impacted the game so much without even scoring a single point. But he played 23 minutes and had a team-high plus 22 when he was in the game, and that was not coincidental. He was 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 3 from deep, but he had 5 rebounds, 3 dimes, and 3 steals, 2 turnovers, though. But he played the most of any of our bench players, and he was phenomenal. So really solid win for the fellas. And yes, we did lose in the semifinals last year to the Memphis Grizzlies, 99-98, unfortunately. Of course, the Miami Heat actually ended up winning the Summer League last year, beating that Memphis Grizzlies team in the semifinals. We were was it a third place game? Let me double check. Third place game. No, there was not. On day 11, it was just the championship. So, yeah, we lost in the semifinals. And look, we're 3-0 now. We're looking to make a push for the big time, baby. You already know. So, our next game, I'm going to be, by the way, coming up, though, we're going to be talking about Patrick Baldwin Jr. and why I have to pump the brakes on him. But we have a game against the Denver Nuggets on Thursday. So that should be exciting. And then we'll see if we make the playoffs. We still got one more game. And I think we should beat the Denver Nuggets because they are not winning as of now. But coming up, going to be talking about why I got to pump the brakes a little bit on Patrick Baldwin Jr. and talk about his performance. I got to tell you a little something about open phone. If you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had an urgent need, maybe for a plumber or a service provider. If the person didn't answer, did you wait? Yeah, I'm not waiting. So that's why you need Open Phone. Open Phone's the #1 business phone system built to streamline and scale your customer communications, all from an app on your phone or computer. Open Phone makes it easy for me to manage the different things that I do, whether it be my club team, whether it be calls from Locked On guys, or anything from a single app. Open Phone is offering my listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OPENPHONE.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers. All right. So the Clippers winning 67-58 against the Los Angeles Lakers in Las Vegas to make it 3-0 in Summer League in a barn burner. But I'll tell you, part of the reason it was a barn burner was because our boy Patrick Baldwin Jr., who I said, like, I was, in the last episode, I talked about Summer League. By the way, there was an episode about Bradley Beal. If you haven't checked that out, check that out. Came out on Wednesday. Big news, I know. But I talked about in the last Summer League episode that Patrick Baldwin Jr., his size is amazing. His shooting is amazing, especially at his size. He's so strong. He was a first-round pick. We should have him long-term so that he can be Batum's replacement. I think maybe I went a little too hard on that take. I don't know if he's going to be Batum's replacement. I think he could be a candidate, but I think I just was going off one game and getting too excited, which I don't tell myself that enough. Because his shot selection was very questionable. Now, I know he's dealing with an ankle injury, which definitely is relevant, and maybe he was a bit fatigued, but the decisions to take, and I know he's a very good shooter. To him, probably, with the size that he has, he's getting a clean look every time. These are shots that he probably practices. I don't deny it. But in the context of the game, dude, you shot 4 for 17, had 3 air balls in the game, and took some ill-advised shots from way downtown, and not all of them were open. So I think, until you prove that you can make those shots consistently, you probably shouldn't take those shots. But, maybe Jeremy's telling him to take them, and the coaching staff is telling him to take them. But I don't know if it helped us particularly in this game. I think the coaching staff, if I had to guess, wasn't happy with all of those shots. Again, this is nothing personal. I love Patrick Baldwin Jr. He seems like an awesome dude. I love the way he answered the questions when I was there. This is just me trying to talk about his basketball game. But 4 for 17 from the field and 2 for 11 from 3. That's a lot of threes. He was less aggressive. And again, he didn't do post-game after the game, so we didn't get to ask him if, the ankle was bothering him, if he was fatigued. But remember, this was a back-to-back for us. And it wasn't a back-to-back for the Lakers. And we still beat him, by the way. Hey, man, for all those people that say that I'm negative, am I negative about our Summer League team? I don't know about that. Supporting the young Clips. Patrick Baldwin Jr., though, I have to say. So I had to pump the brakes on that a little bit because he was taking some tough shots, man. I don't know what to say. I mean, he made 2 open threes in the first quarter, but again, when they were not open threes, he shouldn't be taking too many of those, in my opinion. He was missing all the contested threes and airballing several times, but we were still able to get the job done anyway. As far as Xavier Simpson, I thought it was a pretty solid showing yet again. I talked to one of the, I'm not going to say who, but one of the Clippers people in the scouting department, and he said he wasn't too happy with Xavier so far. And I was asking why, and he was saying that, I think the lack of size doesn't allow him to see over the defense, sometimes misses Yanic, and that is partially true. I mean, there are times I feel like Yanic looks open coming off screens, and Xavier doesn't throw the pass. And it's to be conservative. I think maybe he doesn't think he can make those passes. But I think that's a little bit of a harsh assessment because that's something that I think Xavier, he's just not going to grow. You know what I mean? But what he can do is be the best version of himself. And I think he has done that. I think he's managed the team well. He clearly has shown pro tendencies. Like, for example, he's inbounding the ball, can't find anybody, takes a look above to try to get, the defender thinking he's going to throw it over the top. And he throws it off his leg. Like, he just makes little heads-up plays. He always boxes out. He has a very good handle. He had the crowd oohing and ahhing a bit. So his free throw shooting is a little wonky. But in terms of being composed, looking like a pro to me, like not a pro maybe at the NBA level, but like a pro at other levels, not playing like a young player. I think he does that because he is literally older. And his handle's good, and I still think he makes the right play more often than not. He boxes out, he competes. So in this game, he had 12 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, 2 turnovers on 4 for 8 shooting, 1 for 2 from 3, and 3 for 4 from the foul line. So again, we're talking 12, 4, and 6 on 50, 50, 75 splits. and we're 3-0. And he's played the majority of every game. I think it's hard to say he hasn't been good, but I see what the scouting department's looking at when we're talking about who can be a pro. Will he be able to make those reads? Is he making life tougher for Yanic and not easier? That is something to consider, but just evaluating his performance for our Summer League roster, I think he's been pretty good, personally. But, one thing that really, and by the way, the Lakers went on a 12-1 run at one point to kind of make the game even again, because we were up 22-13 after the first quarter, but we started breaking shots, honestly, and they threw a 2-3 zone at us that kind of, actually, you know what it was, actually? The 2-3 zone, oh no, we went on a 12-1 run. I'm sorry. We went on a 12-1 run, starting by locking up. Then the Lakers went on an 8-0 run in the second quarter, and at first they went zone, and we were getting too many rebounds. We were passing the ball and getting good shots in that zone, but when they went back to man, they had some success because, we don't have the best on-ball shot creators. And, of course, we're missing Kobe Brown for the second straight game. And, Jordan Miller just wasn't getting by guys like that. You know what I'm saying? And Bronny James was doing a good job of not allowing him to blow by him. And, again, something to be reminded of, there's more physicality in Summer League. A lot more hand-checking being allowed. Because you can also get more fouls, and guys are just desperate to make the league. So it's very physical in Summer League. And when the Lakers switched back to man, they didn't just switch back to man. They were really turning up their ball pressure, getting physical, getting chest to chest, pressuring our guys full court, and it was causing turnovers. We were struggling to even get shots up. So that led to their 8-0 run. Bronny hit a step back three in the running hook. And by the way, Xavier Simpson hit another hook shot. And the oohs and ahs in the crowd were crazy because, these fans hadn't watched the first two games, a lot of them. So that was definitely fun to see. But yeah, defense held up overall, and we closed small. That's one thing we did. Even though Yanic had a great game, we closed small to switch everything, prevent the Lakers from getting any open threes because Cole Swider started getting hot towards the end. And Jordan Miller, I think, closed out the game really well. Again, it wasn't the best night shooting the three ball for Jordan. He was just 1 for 3 from deep, but he was still able to get downhill at times, get on the fast break, and had a couple of fast break layups towards the end of the game. And attacking closeouts, he's still fantastic. 19 points to lead the way for us, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 turnovers on 7 for 11 shooting, 1 for 3 from deep, and made all 4 of his free throws. I thought Jordan Miller was our player of the game just because of the way he closed. He was able to have some big buckets late and just stayed the course and was very efficient. So super happy for Jordan because, he had a rougher first game, but rougher, he's still scoring 20-plus points. So he's consistently been our best scorer in these first 3 games. And, considering how good of a Summer League he had last year, I think that's not surprising. And, getting to that left hand, he is big time. So, really rooting for Jordan Miller. Seemed like such a nice guy, humble guy. And, that hard left drive put us up by 5. That was one time where he did get the step on his defender late in the game, and that was a really big bucket. So, I think that Jordan Miller, the way he closed the game, and, the turnovers that we were able to force, just rotating well, and, of course, Trenton Flowers playing really good defense, I think that's what propelled us to a solid 67-58 win. Coming up, going to be talking about Yanic Konan Niederhauser's best performance, Kobe Sanders' quiet game, and Cam Christie. I got to tell you a little something about Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? Sometimes we're paying for so many things, we just can't even keep track of our finances. But with Monarch Money, it can be easier. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It is a complete financial command center, so it makes tracking all your accounts, investments, and spending way easier. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. All right. So the Clippers winning 67-58, going to 3-0 in Summer League so far. Got a big game against the Denver Nuggets to close it out, and we win that. We'll hopefully be playoff bound. But man, Cam Christie, this was a rougher shooting game for him. I thought he played very good defense, made some good passes, but he had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Nice little triple single there, as Chuck would say. 2 steals. Speaking of Chuck, Kenny Smith was at the game, and I was a little bit starstruck, I can't lie, because I'd never seen Kenny in real life. And he's like helped form a lot of my basketball opinions over the years. That was crazy. 8 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, just 1 turnover, which was the least of all our starters. But he shot poorly. 3 for 11 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, 1 for 2 from the foul line. The thing I'll say about Cam, though, is his defense has been really good. You know, all the games, he's bodying up, he's moving his feet, he's getting active hands. He has the potential to me to be like his brother defensively. He's got to make shots. And I think he's done it the first 2 games. It happens. Hopefully he bounces back. Nothing really more to say about it. Remember, he's 20 years old. You know, he's not like these other guys who've played college for so long. Speaking of playing college for so long, how about Yanic Konan Niederhauser? You know, this game was a statement. You know, in the beginning, he missed a layup, and I think his touch around the rim is going to need some work. Don't doubt that he'll get better at that, though. But then he started throwing it down with authority, and he had a possession in the second half where, and I was thankfully behind this basket, he dunked one time off a pass, and then the other time, the next possession, he's bringing the ball down himself, and he loaded up from like right when he got inside the free throw line. So in real time, like I'm sitting behind the basket with Law, and I'm like thinking to myself as he picks it up, I'm like, yo, he's not about to try to dunk this on this fool, is he? And then he takes off from like the middle of the freaking key and ended Cole Swider's existence. I literally like kind of hopped out of my seat and grabbed Law, but it took everything in me to not go nuts. And that is why, my friends, I belong in the wall during the season. Because, yo, are you kidding me? That was vicious. The athletic potential is there with Yanic. He's just very, very raw. But I see the vision completely. Now, that Kalkbrenner guy that we could have picked from Creighton, he's playing pretty well for the Hornets team. He had a game-winning block. He's clearly a little more refined offensively than Yanic. Can shoot a little bit. He can block shots. But I think they went with a guy that they felt has more upside athletically. I think that was the vision. Try to get like I'm telling you, like a DeAndre Jordan, but with a little bit better of a handle. I think that's their vision with him. But it was a good game for him. We talked to him after the game, and he said, after that first layup miss, I'm just going to try to dunk it. So I love Yanic's demeanor. He had 10 points, only 2 rebounds, though. And again, we tried to bring him out to the level of the screen, so he wasn't as around the basket. He actually did a really good job boxing out. I was watching very closely, so that matters. Sometimes you're not getting the rebound, but if you're preventing your man from not getting it by boxing out, that's what you need. And we won the rebounding battle, so it didn't hurt us in the long run that he only had 2 rebounds, which is the least of any starter, funny enough. But again, today, the way the game is played today in the NBA, like even in Summer League, it's still a lot of, 4 out, 1 in, or 5 out. So you're just in a lot of long misses because you're shooting a lot of threes. But 5 for 9 from the field for Yanic. He shot a 3 one time, and I was like, yo, is he about to hit this? It was actually a pretty decent-looking shot. And then no free throw attempts for the guy. No blocks either, but had 2 steals. But I liked what I saw overall. And then Kobe Sanders. By the way, Pulikitis finally made a 3, but he was 1 for 3 from deep, 3 points. No points from... Actually, no, we had 5 points from Jamil Telfort. He was 2 for 2 from the field and 1 for 1 from 3, including a pretty big 3. He had 5 points, 5 rebounds, and he was a plus 11 off the bench. Kobe Sanders, very quiet game for him. He didn't shoot one time, and I don't know. I feel like he's got to find a way to affect the game a little bit more, try to get the ball, be a little bit more aggressive, because 13 minutes went by, he didn't get a shot up, and he turned the ball over twice. Did get 2 assists and a rebound, but I also feel like maybe he should get a little more playing time. I don't know. That's for the coaching staff, but I was a little underwhelmed in that game. However, I don't think he necessarily played badly. I just thought he was very quiet. But hey, man, hopefully he'll play better against the Nuggets. Hopefully he'll get a little bit more of an extended run because I thought in the first 2 games he was fantastic. But let's take a look right now at the Summer League standings. So we got the Oklahoma City Thunder are 4-0. Sacramento Kings are 4-0. Timberwolves are 4-0. Hornets are 3-0. And then we're 3-0. The Spurs are 3-0. The Hawks are 3-0. And the Raptors are 3-0. The Denver Nuggets, who we're playing, are 0-3. So if we take care of business there, we'll be 4-0. And I mean, I think that should be enough to qualify. But I'm not sure. You know, it's going to be interesting. The playoffs, let's see how it goes. Let me look at the format. Okay. A total of 76 games will be played. Each team will play at least 5 games. And each team will play 4 games from July 10th to the 17th. 5 games, huh? Interesting. Oh, look, the 26 teams that did not advance to the 4-team playoff will play a 5th game. Okay, so it's 4 teams. After each team plays 4 games, the top 4 teams will advance to the playoffs and participate. So, yikes. That means we need some results to go our way. The thing is, we've had some barn burners. That's the part that scares me a little bit. So let's take a look at the standings, right? The Thunder have 12.5 point. I think, is point difference a tiebreaker? Let's see. Tiebreak criteria. 2 teams tied. Head-to-head matchup. So let's take a look at who we played against. I mean, we need to go 4-0. Like, I'm only assuming that we're going 4-0. So let me see if we have any of these teams that are undefeated playing each other. Okay, so the Pistons, I said we're 3-0? No, they're not. Okay. The Atlanta Hawks and the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay, the Atlanta Hawks are 3-0. And they have a plus 9.4 point differential. It doesn't really matter, though, if they play the Grizzlies because they're 1-2. It only matters if the teams that are like potentially going to be 4-0 are playing each other. Let's see. The Charlotte Hornets? Did I say the Charlotte Hornets? Yeah, they are. Okay, so the Charlotte Hornets are 3-0, and they're playing against the Spurs, who are 3-0. So one of them's going to lose. So that's good. And right now, currently, the Charlotte Hornets are right above us. So I think that's a win-win for us, honestly. And then we have, it looks like the way the tiebreaker is run. Let's see. Besides head-to-head, let's see what it is. Point differential. The team with the greater point differential receives the higher seed. So point difference is more important than, because it says the way it's ranked is quarter points. No, that doesn't matter. Okay, point differential. So right now, the Thunder would be in first, the Kings would be in second, and the Timberwolves would be in third. That's how it would be right now. Thunder, Kings, Timberwolves. As far as us against the Hawks, they're plus 9.4. We're plus 9. The Hawks, their last game will be against the Grizzlies. So we'll see how that goes. We got to beat the Nuggets up. I think if we just run up the score, it's the best case scenario. Just run up the score. Because this is it. I really want to actually, we've never won a Summer League championship. We never won any championship, so it'd be really nice to win the Summer League championship. So hopefully we knock down shots. Hopefully Cam Christie and Patrick Baldwin have a better shooting game. We should blow them out because I would love to make it. We're dealing with some tough teams, so. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper and LA sports content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell on the road to 8,000 subscribers. The age-old proverb continues. Go Clippers.